My name is Nino Galini. I'm with Zenith Insurance. We handle your workers' comp. Okay. Our main goal with Zenith is to try to give you tools and education to help protect yourselves from injury. That's the ultimate goal. All right. Today we're going to do some basic lifting training, and I'm going to show you with some of the shingle bundles that you would be handling. All right. Before we get into lifting training, I want to explain certain things about the body. All right. Is everybody basically familiar with the way your back is set up and bone structure and all those different things, right? You have vertebrae, bones that are basically shaped like a cylinder. You have the spinal cord that goes through it, and then you have cartilage in between each one of those, okay? Understand that your back is not straight, your back is arched. It goes in, out, and up, okay? Now, the reason that we focus on lifting training so much and lifting injuries so much is because with the back, we don't have as much education and medical knowledge to protect you. For instance, if you pull a muscle, we could send you to the doctor, a little bit of treatment in your back, and you're good to go. With the back, it doesn't work the same. You have the cartilage that's in between each one of those bones, okay? Now that cartilage throughout your entire life will wear. It doesn't matter what you do as part of being alive, okay? As you get older, that cartilage will wear. The downside of that is that the cartilage does not replace itself. Okay, so once you wear it out, you're basically done with it. And then what ends up happening with most medical facilities you'll see or you'll hear is they'll fuse your back together. Okay, and that is very, very painful stuff. So what we're trying to do is prevent that from occurring. So how do you do it? Okay, well, I'll start off by educating you on the way your body handles the different weights, all right? Your body has three basic lifting zones that you want to pay attention to. Okay, they are above head, middle ground, from the knees down, or thighs down. What would you say is the strongest area for you out of those three zones? Shoulders up, shoulders to the legs, legs down.
The middle.
The middle one, yes. This is your strongest area, all right? By far, this is going to be where you can do most of your pushing, lifting, pulling, all those items. So you want to keep things within this area as much as possible. The reason I say that is one of the things we see when people carry, for example, they throw things over their shoulders, okay? The reason you do that is because you don't have to use your arms. Your arms get tired, right? But when you do that, you throw things on your shoulders, you're now lifting it, putting it into a heavier zone, which puts more strain on your back, okay? So, again, you have three zones from the floor, the middle, and above ground. All right, you want to have all your heavier lifting done here as much as possible. All right, phenomenal for you in your back. Okay, we talked about the three zones. You have the floor, you have the middle, you have above head. Okay, shoulders up. Now you also have to look at that in 3 dimensions going out. All right, the easiest rule of thumb is keep items as close to your body as possible when you're performing your lifts. Okay. When I say as close as possible, I mean as close as possible. If you have to get like this, it makes a difference for you. All right? The idea is you want to stay as close as possible and keep the shingles as much from here to here. All right? So, would this be considered a good lift? Yes, it'd be perfect. Now, say we start getting down to here. What do you think you should do? What would be your next step? Perfect. You use your knees. Okay. If you look at your body standing up, this is the most natural position for your body, right? We can do this all day, basically. A little bit of shifting, basically we can do this all day. All right? Whenever you're doing any task, a lift, or anything along those lines, you want to keep your natural body posture as much as possible. This is why I'm standing sideways. So if I need to pick something up that's heavy, say this shingle is heavy, what do? Pull it closer to me. And then I could do the squat. When I do the squat, everybody's seen on bodybuilders and how they do that, right? It's the same idea. The easiest thing to think about, if you want to think about squatting, if you want to practice, is to sit. This is the proper position to do your lift. You see the knees don't pass the toes. This is how power guys do this. All right. The reason you don't want your knees to pass your toes is you can tear up your kneecap. Once you pass here, all the strain goes to your kneecap. So you can tear your kneecaps. That's why when you see people do this, it's actually very bad for your knees, especially if you go to lift something heavy. Okay, so again, I'm going to get close. I'm going to squat. Keep it close to the body. And then I can just stand up. All right? And if you noticed, there's no change in my upper body. There's no change in my shoulders. All that stays the same. It's all on my arms and my legs. Okay? One of the things that you want to avoid when performing lifting tasks is twisting. Okay? Twisting is actually very bad for your back. About every 10 to 15 degrees that you twist, 10 to 15 degrees, I'm doubling the likelihood of injury. So if I want to turn and grab, I open my heel up, and now it's hips. It's no longer back. But ultimately what you want to do, it's easier to see here, is you want to open up your feet. So now it's more hips. It's not as much as your back. Okay? All right, and when you're using your hips, you're using more muscles, more of those types of tissues than your cartilage, which is more static tissue. Okay. What is the most important rule in lifting? And it's probably something you haven't heard of. It's the most important rule in lifting. And it's not lift with your legs. It's not lift with your legs, not with your back. What's the most important rule? It's simple. Just think about it before you do it. That's it. All right? If I was to pick that board up, I would not think about it. That's common for us as human beings. We don't think about it. But when you're working and you have something as heavy as this, just think about it. That is the only thing. Just think it through. What am I going to do for the next step? If I have to carry this over there, think about it. Look at where I'm going. Do I have any obstacles? Am I going to have to climb over something? Do I have to go downstairs? Those kind of things, okay? They'll protect you because at least you're not stuck holding this 60-pound bag in your hand, just trying to figure out what you're going to do next. All right, and then that's what is the most important rule in lifting? And it's probably something you haven't heard of. It's the most important rule in lifting. And it's not lift with your legs. It's not lift with your legs, not with your back. What's the most important rule? It's simple. Just think about it before you do it. That's it. All right? If I was to pick that board up, I would not think about it. That's common for us as human beings. We don't think about it. But when you're working and you have something as heavy as this, just think about it. That is the only thing. Just think it through. What am I going to do for the next step? If I have to carry this over there, think about it. Look at where I'm going. Do I have any obstacles? Am I going to have to climb over something? Do I have to go downstairs? Those kind of things, okay? They'll protect you because at least you're not stuck holding this 60-pound bag in your hand, just trying to figure out what you're going to do next. All right, and then that's when trouble starts. Okay, carrying is again designed. You want to look at the body and how your body's designed. As human beings, we carry things mostly here, right? This is where we're strongest. Okay, it's mostly seen, and I like to say this is mostly seen in the female species. Okay, females carry children. It's all right here. Okay, that's the way we're designed. All right, so so when you're doing a carry, you want to carry it again between these two areas. All right, pushing and pulling. Pushing and pulling, you have more strength. Pushing, you have more control pushing. All right, so that we do want you to push as much as possible. When you're dealing with pushing and pulling, you have to understand that they work different parts of the body, but there is a right way of doing each one. Okay, so what do we normally do? We cheat, exactly. We do this. Now, from this side, you'll notice something when I do this. You notice my back? It's straight. You see that? Now, the reason I wanted to show you that, because it is a trick. Ultimately, you want to keep your posture the same. Straight and even, this is where we're designed to be. If I bend over this way, horrible for the back, right? You see, I'm not straight at all. I stick my leg out, now my back is straight. Okay, now it's all legs, shoulders, and arms. Now when you're pulling, it's different. You can't pull this way, right? It won't work as well. And what ends up happening with a lot of people is they'll do this side to side to side. Now when you're doing this side to side, it's like twisting. Remember what I was telling you about? It's just like doing that. It's not very good for you. The best way to pull is to hold and to sit. Now, what's doing most of the pulling now? Legs. Your body weight. So if I literally just do this and sit back, I am now automatically putting pressure on it, and then I just have to walk. So if I'm here, that's proper pulling. You see my back? Yeah. Straight, arms, everything is solid, okay? Now when you do this, you're gonna feel it more in your legs because you're putting all the strain on your legs, okay? But, again, legs are designed for it. It should be able to handle it.